The concept is called Temenos. Temenos is a Greek word for a sacred container or a sacred vessel. And the basic idea is that when we live our lives, we act in different roles. We operate in different containers. I might be a father in one container. I might be a husband in another container. I might be a colleague or coach in another container. And in each of these roles I play, there are different rules that make up my identity, different behaviors. Like when I now give a talk and my wife would call on my phone, you would hear my voice changing. You would hear a different language because I'm German, etc., etc. So my behavior changes according to the roles I play. Usually we're not aware of that, and we tend to carry baggage from one container into the next. So you might get into work angry from traffic, angry from a fight with your teenage daughter, and that might affect the interactions you have with your co-workers. Same when you are angry about your work or sad about something that didn't work, and you bring that home and then have tension at home with your wife. Temenos is a lab setting with different exercises that make you aware of these constellations in your life and give you the ability to switch containers with minimal baggage. So it's set up in a way that you first look at your past. You share with a group of people a map of the influences that made you who you are. So the main technique that Temenos uses is called influence maps. And it's a very simple technique where you basically draw something on a flip chart with colored markers. You look into some context, into some problem, you visualize it using icons, using graphical images that act as metaphors for your story, and then you share your story. So it's a storytelling and graphical imagery technique, so to say. And you use this in a group setting with your team or with a group of strangers, however you want to do it, to look at your past, your present, and then your future. Who of you was in our culture session yesterday? We did this personal vision exercise. That was a kind of fast forward speed version of this look into the future. So you have the personal mythology, looking into your own past, making up your own story, the story of your life, and sharing that. You create a clean slate of your present, trying to sort through these different roles you play and the different ways that you fail your own expectations in these roles, and the ways the containers in which you operate fail your expectations. So that, for instance, when I'm thinking about my marriage, I'm a coach, I'm away a lot of the time, so I fail my marriage in being away a lot of the time. And in some ways, the marriage might not meet my expectations, might not meet my needs. And a clean slate is a way to make sense of these dysfunctions, of these blame or judgmental or pain situations, pain points in your life, so that you can start develop strategies. Steve talked in the feedback about success strategies and sabotage strategies that we can employ or do employ in our lives. So the idea of a clean slate is to develop a strategy for success for your different containers. Be intentional about the roles you play. Be intentional about your behavior, right? Try to improve your role as a father, or your role as a coach, or your role as a husband by being intentional. How do I want to be in that role with these people? And based on this reflection and the sharing in the group, you develop a personal vision. This is what we did in the culture session yesterday. It was very fun because it was so quick. 5 minutes time, everybody get an A4 piece of paper and draw things that are important that you can use to tell a story about who you want to be, and then run around the room for another 5 minutes to share that with as many people as possible. And that was a really fun thing to do and gave a lot of energy to the group. Someone told me at lunch today that she wants to try this as a retrospective check-in technique, to open a retrospective. Have people very quickly draw about dream things about themselves and then share that with the group. Good way to quickly get to know each other a little bit better You remember the keynote in the morning when David talked about inauthenticity and the problem that very often in our lives we're inauthentic with other people? Temenos is all about creating authentic connections to other human beings. And you do that by being aware of your behaviors, by being intentional about the identities you have in the different roles you play, and developing a compelling shared vision together for your team or your organization based on the imagery, the icons you use, the archetypes that make up your individual stories. Share those and create an emergent, compelling shared vision from that. That's the Temenos method. I inherited a session on Thursday from Thorsten Kalnin, who couldn't come. There's my name on it, but still a Jedi Star Wars topic on it. I learned yesterday from Micah that I may change the topic. I will do a run through the Temenos method with you in that speed dating fashion we had yesterday in the culture session, so that you get an insight in these three aspects of the Temenos method. Thank you.